Welcome to Hockey Wiz Talks podcast. In this podcast, I'll talk about forwards on the NHL trade block. In this podcast, I talk about forwards who might be on the NHL trade block. A cluster of notable NHL forwards are circulating heavily in trade discussions right now, driven by the looming Olympic roster freeze and the March 6th trade deadline. Several contenders and bubble teams are aggressively shopping for scoring help, while struggling clubs are positioning veteran forwards as trade chips. With Chris Drury informing Artemi Panarin that the team is moving in a different direction, and Panarin expressing confusion and frustration after being told that he would not receive a new contract. This effectively pushes New York towards a trade rather than losing him for nothing come July. Artemi Panarin is the biggest name on the NHL trade market right now, and suitors are lining up for his services. The front runner to land Panarin are the Detroit Red Wings and San Jose Sharks. Detroit Hockey Insider has reported that a trade between the Rangers and Red Wings is in motion, and suggests negotiations have moved beyond speculation and into active structuring. San Jose is also considered a strong contender for Panarin, and they have even discussed the possibility of an extension. Panarin holds a full no movement clause, so he must approve any destination and ultimately controls where he lands. Vancouver has lost 11 straight games and is shifting into a rebuild. Team president Jim Rutherford says the team is open to talking about anyone, including Elias Pettersson. Vancouver has already moved major pieces such as Quinn Hughes and Kiefer Sherwood, signaling a willingness to reshape the core. Pettersson carries an $11.6 million cap hit through 2031-2032 and a full no-movement clause, meaning he controls any trade. The Canucks are willing to entertain offers if the return is massive and Pettersson waives his no-move clause. This is not a fire sale, it's a blockbuster-only scenario. There certainly is interest around the league in Pettersson despite his mediocre play this season. The Carolina Hurricanes, Utah Mammoth, and Philadelphia Flyers are teams who are interested in landing his services. Because of his enormous AAV though, insiders believe Vancouver may need to retain up to 25% of his contract to make the deal work. The New York Rangers are entering a fire sale phase, making nearly every veteran available. Vincent Trocheck is viewed as their most valuable trade chip because he plays a premium position and has term. Trocheck has become the top center target on the NHL trade market, with multiple insiders confirming that the Minnesota Wild, Carolina Hurricanes, and LA Kings are very interested in adding Trocheck to their rosters. Minnesota in particular has been actively pursuing a top 6 center, and insiders reportedly link them directly to Trocheck. Due to Trocheck's cap-friendly $5.63 million AAV, strong two-way profile, face-off reliability, and playoff-style game, and the fact that he plays a premium position in extremely short supply this deadline, the Rangers could get a great return for him. Alex Tuch remains one of the most talked about forwards on the NHL trade market, but Buffalo's recent surge and new management have complicated his availability. Multiple insiders list him as a potential trade chip, yet the Sabres may now opt to try to re-sign him instead of moving him. Tuch is a pending UFA. Reports indicate that he may be seeking a contract north of $10 million per season, which could price him out of Buffalo. League-wide rumor roundups continue to list Tuch as a potential trade fit for contenders, as he is a proven top 6 winger with a strong playoff-style profile and can drive lines. St. Louis is well out of the playoffs, and GM Doug Armstrong is willing to make major changes. Jordan Kyrou's production is down to 18 points in 36 games, well below expectations for a $8.125 million winger. His no-trade clause complicates any trade, but it does not eliminate the possibility of a move. His production dip, long-term contract, and strained fit with the Blues' direction have made him one of the most talked about high-skilled forwards on the market. Multiple insiders confirm several teams have shown interest, with the Anaheim Ducks specifically being mentioned. But keep an eye on the surging Buffalo Sabres, whom have turned the corner from being sellers into buyers. Steven Stamkos is inching towards the twilight seasons of his Hall of Fame career. He's not the superstar he was in his Tampa Bay Lightning glory days, but he still can help a contender as a cog in a high-functioning machine who is a key cog on the power play with this one-timer. After a slow start, Stamkos has rediscovered his scoring touch, with 17 goals and 28 points in his last 25 games, pushing him back over the 20-goal mark for the 16th time in 18 seasons. Teams across the league are monitoring the situation in Nashville. Teams like New Jersey, the New York Islanders, and Tampa Bay Lightning could be interested in trading for Stamkos. And now a word from our sponsor. Check out my scouting blog at HockeyWiz777scouting.com. Listen to my scouting blog podcast on podcasters.spotify.com/pod/show/HockeyWiz777scouting. There is always a demand for a former Conn Smythe Trophy winner and brainy two-way center who plays a clean shutdown game on the trade market. Ryan O'Reilly still has enough gas left in him to bolster a contender's middle six. Multiple reports confirm that the Nashville Predators are listening on him, with teams like the Colorado Avalanche, Washington Capitals, Philadelphia Flyers, and Utah Mammoth all linked as potential suitors. O'Reilly is drawing multi-team interest, and several contenders have a very clear need at center. His age and contract term will shape the return, but the market is very real. The Flames are sliding down the standings and have already begun selling, including the Rasmus Andersson blockbuster. Kadri is the next major piece drawing league-wide attention. Nazem Kadri is one of the hottest names on the NHL trade market right now, with multiple insiders confirming active conversations between the Calgary Flames and Kadri's camp, and a long list of contenders kicking tires on the veteran center. Kadri is open to a move if it helps him chase a Stanley Cup, but he isn't demanding a trade right now. He is willing to consider a trade if it opens up an opportunity that aligns with his goals. There are many teams interested in Kadri, in Toronto Maple Leafs and Colorado Avalanche. Since Kadri has a $7 million AAV cap hit, Calgary may have to retain a chunk of his salary to make the deal work. Brayden Schenn is not a $6.5 million player anymore. The Blues would almost certainly need to retain salary to facilitate a trade, especially since he has a couple years left on his contract. Brayden Schenn at a discounted price could still boost a team's third line and bring brawny veteran leadership to a contender. Interest is strong from contenders such as the Vegas Golden Knights, Toronto Maple Leafs, and potentially even the Winnipeg Jets, while St. Louis is demanding major assets in return. Teams view him as a safe, playoff-ready second or third line center with leadership and two-way reliability. The Blues are sliding, the market is hot, and Schenn is one of the most attractive veteran center available. He is widely expected to be moved before the deadline. Calgary is expected to be a seller after the Olympic break, and Blake Coleman is one of the forwards on that trade list. Blake Coleman is one of the most attractive middle six forwards on the current NHL rumor cycle, with multiple credible reports linking him to teams like Washington, Montreal, Dallas, as Calgary continues to retool. Coleman's contract with 1 year left after the season, style and reputation make him one of the most attractive non-star forwards available. Jonathan Marchessault is squarely on the trade block, with Nashville entering sell mode and multiple insiders identifying him as one of the Predators' most likely departures. His production has dropped sharply since leaving Vegas, and GM Barry Trotz is prepared to move big contracts as part of a roster overhaul. The most likely landing spot for Marchessault is the Montreal Canadiens, but the Toronto Maple Leafs could also be interested as well. Marchessault has 3 years left on his deal with a no-move clause, which makes a trade of Marchessault really complicated. Michael Bunting's 10-team no-trade list evaporated after last season, so he's a clear trade candidate playing on an expiring contract. Throughout his career, he's shown the ability to produce in spurts when paired with high-end line mates. His agitating skills can also shift momentum in playoff series if he stays on the right side of the line, which isn't always a guarantee. Bunting's value isn't nearly what it was a couple years ago, but he could still be a sneaky, helpful depth piece. Check out my hockey blog at hockeywiztalkshockey.blogspot.com. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram at HockeyWiz777. Shane Wright is officially on the trade block, with multiple insiders confirming that the Seattle Kraken are open to moving him in a package for a top 6 forward. His reduced ice time, frustration with usage, and Seattle's push to add scoring have all pushed the situation to a breaking point. Teams that believed in Wright pre-draft could re-enter the picture. Nick Robertson's name is on the rumor mill for the 3rd straight year. Robertson requested a move before frustrated by inconsistent usage, scratches, and lack of a defined role under multiple coaches. The Pittsburgh Penguins were specifically mentioned as a potential landing spot, with insiders linking them to Robertson as a young upside play. Brad Lambert is one of the most active young names on the NHL trade block, with multiple insiders confirming that Winnipeg has given him permission to seek a trade, and several teams already linked as suitors. He's been linked to the Philadelphia Flyers, Calgary Flames, Vancouver Canucks, and Montreal Canadiens. If Lambert is moved, the Jets would want something Lambert-like, a young player with similar upside, or a piece they can flip for one. In my next podcast, I'll be talking about defensemen and goalies on the trade block.